At 17, I got arrested after my stepdad accused me of S.Aing my little sister. My mom backed him, saying, "You're evil. I've always known it." I proved she was wrong, and now she's desperate to reconcile. Sup, Reddit. Been raising my sister since I was 14 because mom checked out. Her new husband started acting weird around my sister. When I tried to protect her, I ended up handcuffed. I, 21 male, and my dad died when I was 14. Heart attack at 42. Just keeled over at his desk like someone unplugged him. No dramatic hospital goodbye, just a phone call from his boss, and 2 cops in our driveway when I got home from school. I walked up with my backpack, saw the squad car, and my stomach dropped. You can tell from a cop's face when they're about to wreck your world. Mom collapsed on the front lawn, screaming while neighbors stared. I just stood there holding my algebra textbook, thinking this was the moment everything ended. I was right. Mom completely lost it after that. First week, she didn't leave bed except to use the bathroom. Second week, crying in the bathroom for hours while I got ready for school in the kitchen sink. By week 3, I came home to find prescription pills scattered everywhere, and her watching their wedding video on repeat, zoned out and barely functional. "Mom, it's Tuesday morning. Don't tell me what I can't do. You didn't lose the love of your life." By month 2, she stopped pretending. Empty pill bottles lined the counter like trophies. She'd pass out on the couch, and I'd throw a blanket over her so she didn't freeze. The house went downhill fast. Bills piled up with red stamps. The electricity got shut off twice, and the fridge had nothing but condiments and dead takeout. I started stealing 20s from Mom's purse for ramen and frozen pizza. She never noticed. Dad's life insurance paid out $150,000. Mom blew through $30,000 in 4 months on furniture she didn't need, online shopping she didn't remember, and lending money to her deadbeat sister, who ghosted the second the check cleared. By the time I was 15, we were broker than before Dad died. Then one night, she stumbled into my room at 2 a.m. and dropped the bomb. She was pregnant. 4 months along, Dad's kid, but she'd been too messed up to realize she'd missed 4 periods. She just stood there swaying, mascara running, telling me like it was my problem to fix. "You're what?" "Pregnant. 4 months. The doctor confirmed it today." "Mom, you've been taking pills every day for months." "I know," she sobbed. "I didn't realize." "Are you going to stop now?" She didn't answer, just turned around and went back to her room. She didn't stop. Not even a little. I tried everything. Flushed pills. She'd get more. Hid her keys. She'd walk to the pharmacy. Begged her to think about the baby. She'd tell me to mind my own business. I was 14, watching my mom slowly harm my unborn sibling with nothing I could do about it. My sister Junia was born 2 months premature at County General. I got the call during second period, forged a note, and took 2 buses across town. Mom was screaming at nurses, refusing an epidural, causing a scene. Junia came out tiny and screaming, barely 4 pounds, blue from lack of oxygen. The NICU team swarmed her, while I watched through the window as they hooked my baby sister up to machines. A doctor pulled me aside. "Your mother consumed substances during pregnancy. The baby has fetal spectrum disorder." Translation: Junia's brain took damage before she was born. Learning delays, behavioral issues, motor control problems, years of therapy ahead. How bad? We won't know the full extent for a few years, but she'll need significant support. I looked at Mom passed out in her hospital bed, probably coming down from whatever she'd had before labor. Junia was in an incubator fighting to breathe. I was 14 years old, and I knew right then I was going to raise this kid myself. Junia stayed in the NICU for 6 weeks. I visited every day after school, sat by her incubator doing homework, talked to her through the plastic. The nurses got used to seeing me and started teaching me how to feed her, change her, recognize distress signs. "Where's your mother?" "Working," I'd lie. Mom showed up maybe 4 times in 6 weeks, always looking hungover, always leaving after 10 minutes. The nurses knew but didn't say anything. When Junia finally came home at 5 pounds, the pediatrician handed Mom a stack of pamphlets about therapy resources and specialist appointments. Mom threw them in the trash in the parking lot. So guess who became a teen dad at 14? This guy. I did the midnight feedings, changed the diapers, learned to mix formula from YouTube videos at 3 a.m. while Junia screamed her head off. She had colic, so she'd cry for hours straight. I'd walk her around the house at 4 a.m. bouncing her, singing stupid songs I barely remembered, forged Mom's signature on permission slips and medical forms. Taught myself to cook. Pasta, chicken nuggets, scrambled eggs, whatever would keep us both alive on $30 a week. I took Junia to pediatrician appointments on the city bus. 40-minute ride each way with a screaming infant. Sat in waiting rooms doing homework while specialists evaluated her and asked where my mother was. "She's sick. She sent me instead. Nobody questioned it. Or maybe they did, and just didn't care enough to report it. The system's overloaded. One more struggling family doesn't register. At school, everyone thought I was just the quiet kid. They had no clue I was running a household and raising a baby. I'd show up with bags under my eyes, smelling like spit up, and teachers would ask if I was okay. Yeah, just tired. What else could I say? That'd get me thrown into foster care faster than you can blink. I kept my head down, did what I had to do, and survived. When I was 15, Mom started bringing home this absolute winner named Mallory. Picture every douchebag stereotype: backwards affliction hat, tribal tattoo sleeve, Ed Hardy shirts, stupid goatee. The guy looked like he walked out of a 2008 MMA gym and never updated his wardrobe. He was 35, unemployed, constantly talking about his business ventures that were about to blow up. Spoiler, nothing ever blew up except his child support payments from 2 other kids he didn't see. Mallory moved in after 3 weeks with garbage bags of clothes, an Xbox 360, and a collection of energy drinks. Didn't ask, didn't discuss it, just claimed the living room couch like he'd been there forever. At first, he tried the cool stepdad routine, offering me drinks when Mom wasn't looking, trying to talk football, calling me little man. I kept my distance. Something about Mallory felt wrong. The way he smiled didn't match his eyes. The way he'd watch people when he thought nobody was looking. My gut screamed predator. Mom married him 6 months later. Vegas wedding. I found out because she came home with a ring and a new last name, texted me a photo of them in front of some tacky chapel. She was convinced Mallory was going to save us, get his life together, be the man of the house Dad used to be. Yeah, that lasted about 5 minutes. Mallory got a job at a distribution warehouse loading trucks. Showed up under the influence on day 3. I overheard him bragging to Mom about taking the edge off before work. Got into a screaming match with his supervisor about being disrespected when the guy asked him to actually work. Fired by end of week 2. I came home and found him on the couch with his termination letter, playing it off like it was the company's fault. They had it out for me, babe. Toxic work environment. He never filed anything. After that, he just stayed home. Every single day, playing Call of Duty until 4 a.m., screaming into his headset, taking Mom's pills straight from the bottle, eating the groceries I bought with my Walmart paychecks. I'd buy a week's worth of food, and it'd be gone in 3 days. He'd leave dirty dishes everywhere like the world's worst roommate. I'd come home from school and work to find him on the couch in the same sweatpants he'd worn for 4 days, surrounded by energy drink cans and pizza boxes. Junia would be in her playpen with a full diaper, crying, while Mallory ignored her. Dude, Junia needs to be changed. I'm in the middle of a match. You do it. You've been home all day. And she's not my kid. But he sure acted like the man of the house when it came to making demands. That's when he started getting physical with me. I came home late from my Walmart shift one night. I was 16 now, working 25 to 30 hours a week, and Mallory started yelling about the trash. I'd forgotten because Junia had a fever that morning. You didn't take out the trash. I'll do it in the morning. I just got home. He was off the couch in a second, grabbed me by the shirt and slammed me into the wall hard enough to knock a picture frame down. Got right in my face. Breath stinking like cheap cigarettes and energy drinks. When I tell you to do something, you do it. You live under my roof now, you little punk. My roof. My dad paid for this house. But I didn't say that. I wanted to swing on him so bad, fist clenched and ready. But Junia was one, asleep in the next room, and I couldn't risk getting kicked out. She had nobody else. So I swallowed it. Took the trash out at 11 p.m., seething the whole time. Mom walked past us during the whole thing. Saw Mallory slam me into the wall, heard him threatening me, said nothing, just kept walking to her bedroom with her pill bottle. I tested her later that night. Mom, Mallory just assaulted me. He can't do that. You probably deserved it. You've been disrespectful lately. Disrespectful? I do everything around here. I take care of Junia. I pay for food. I clean. Mallory's the man of the house now. You need to show more respect. That's when I knew she'd chosen him over me. Over Junia, over reality. The hitting became routine after that. Smack to the back of the head when I talked back. Punch to the ribs when my attitude made him mad. Shove into the counter when I didn't move fast enough. One time he grabbed my arm so hard he left finger-shaped bruises that lasted a week. Mom either didn't notice or didn't care. Probably both. I started documenting everything. Took photos of the bruises on my ribs, arms, back. Recorded Mallory screaming at me, calling me worthless, threatening to beat my butt if I didn't show respect. Saved screenshots of his text calling me a useless piece of garbage and telling me to get out of his house. I knew eventually I'd need proof, just didn't know for what yet. The worst part? Junia was starting to notice. She'd flinch when Mallory raised his voice, started calling me Bubba, because she heard Mallory call Mom Babe, and thought that's what you called people you loved. She'd cling to me whenever Mallory was around. She knew he was bad news, even at 1 year old. Mallory started paying weird attention to Junia when she turned 2. At first, I thought he was just trying to play stepdad, picking her up, reading to her badly, offering to help with bath time and bedtime. Then I noticed patterns. Small things that individually didn't mean much, but together, red flags everywhere. He only volunteered to help when he could be alone with her. If I was home, he ignored Junia completely. But the second I left for work or school, suddenly he was dad of the year. He'd go into her room after bedtime and stay there for 10, 15 minutes at a time. Checking on her, he'd say when I asked. Making sure she's asleep. But I'd hear him in there moving around, and Junia's bed would creak like someone was sitting on it. He started commenting on her appearance. Junia's getting so pretty. She's gonna be a heartbreaker when she grows up. Stuff that made my skin crawl. He'd insist on being the one to help her change clothes. Let me help, babe. You're tired. I got this. Then I walked in on him, holding her dirty clothes up to his face. I came home early from school one day, half day for finals, and the house was quiet. Mom's car was gone. Mallory's charger was in the driveway. I heard movement in Junia's room. Walked down the hall. Her door was cracked open. Mallory was standing there with her little frozen pajama top pressed against his nose, eyes closed, just inhaling. Deep breaths. His other hand was in his pocket. I cleared my throat. What the heck are you doing? He jumped like I'd tasered him, dropped the shirt immediately. His face went from panic to rage in half a second. Jesus, man, you scared me, just doing laundry, trying to help out. By smelling her clothes? I wasn't. It smelled like detergent. I was checking if it was clean. Why are you making it weird? But we both knew what I'd seen. The look in his eyes said everything. Pure panic, then calculation, then rage. He knew I'd caught something I wasn't supposed to see. Get out of her room. This is my house. Get out. He left, but not before giving me this look that said I was going to regret this. I didn't say anything to Mom. What would I say? Your husband was smelling Junia's clothes? She'd just accused me of causing drama, of being jealous, of trying to ruin her marriage. So I took action instead. Moved Junia's toddler bed into my room that night. Told Mom she was having nightmares and wanted to be near me. Mom didn't care. She was 3 pills deep and barely registered what I said. Mallory looked angry when he found out, but he couldn't argue without sounding suspicious. I stopped leaving Junia alone with him. Period. Not for 5 minutes. Not for 5 seconds. If I had to work, I dropped her at my coworker's place. Told her mom was dealing with migraines and needed help with childcare. She had 2 kids of her own and didn't mind the extra one. Would text me pictures of Junia playing with her daughters, smiling, safe. If I was home, Junia was in my line of sight every single second. She ate when I ate, watched TV next to me, slept in my room. I became her shadow. Mallory noticed. Started making comments. You're real protective of her, huh? That's kind of weird, bro. Like, obsessively protective. You sure you're not projecting something? Some weird stuff? Classic predator move. Flip the script. Make me look like the problem. Just being a good brother. That ain't normal, man. The way you hover over her. It's creepy. I ignored him. But I started sleeping with my door locked and a chair wedged under the handle. Started keeping my phone charged 24/7, voice memo app ready. I'd record any conversation where Mallory was near Junia, just in case. I also started paying closer attention to his patterns. When did he go in Junia's room? What times was Mom passed out? When was I usually gone? I mapped it all out in a notebook I kept hidden under my mattress. He was smart, I'll give him that. Never did anything obvious when I was around. But I caught little things. The way he'd accidentally brush against Junia. The way he'd hold her a little too long when picking her up. The way he'd volunteer to give her a bath and then take 30 minutes when it should take 10. One night I pretended to leave for work. Clocked in, then immediately clocked back out claiming I felt sick. Came back home quietly, parked down the street, snuck in through the back door. Found Mallory in the bathroom with Junia. Door closed. I opened it without knocking. He was helping her dry off after a bath. Had the towel wrapped around her, but his hands were inside the towel. Drying her off, he said. Junia looked uncomfortable. Not scared, just uncomfortable. Like she knew something was wrong but didn't have the words for it. I got it from here. I'm almost done. I said I got it. He left, but the look he gave me was pure hatred. I knew then. I was running out of time. He was getting bolder, testing boundaries. Soon he'd cross a line I couldn't ignore, and I needed to be ready. Chapter 4. The phone and the fight Mallory screwed up 3 weeks later. It was a Saturday morning. Mom had passed out on the couch the night before and hadn't moved. Junia was watching cartoons in my room, safe. I was in the kitchen making breakfast. Scrambled eggs and toast, nothing fancy. Mallory came out of the bathroom and left his phone on the counter. Just set it down while he grabbed an energy drink from the fridge. Normally, that phone was glued to his hand. He took it everywhere. Bathroom, shower, even to bed. Mom joked about it once. Said he loved that phone more than her. She wasn't wrong. But this time, steam from his shower had fogged up the screen and he just left it there while he went to find his vape pen or whatever. I'd seen him unlock it a dozen times. Always the same 4-digit pattern. Fool used the last 4 digits of his license plate. I'd memorized it months ago just in case. I didn't even think. Just grabbed it and punched in the code. I went straight to his photo gallery, heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Scrolled past the usual stuff. Gym selfies, pathetic. Screenshots of sports scores. Memes he'd saved from Facebook. Then I saw a folder labeled private. Password protected. I tried 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing. Tried his birthday. Nothing. Tried mom's name. Nothing. Then I tried Junia's birthday. 4 digits. Her birth month and day. It opened. And I wanted to throw up. Photos of Junia. Dozens of them. Close-ups of her in the bathtub. Water barely covering her. Pictures of her sleeping in poses that were clearly arranged. Legs spread. Shirt pulled up to expose her stomach and chest. Her pull-up pulled down in some. She was 2 years old. My baby sister. I started scrolling faster. The photos went back months. Different outfits, different angles, different times of day. Time-stamped, dated. Metadata intact, showing exact times and locations. March 15th, 2:47 p.m. I was at work. Mom was passed out. April 3rd, 9:23 a.m. I was at school. Mom was running errands, getting pills. May 8th, 6:14 p.m. I was at the grocery store. 20-minute window. He'd been doing this for half a year. Every time I left Junia alone with him, every time I couldn't protect her, he was in her room with his phone, taking pictures, violating my sister. The idiot didn't realize his phone auto-backed everything to the cloud. He probably thought deleting from the gallery did something. It didn't. Every image was sitting in multiple cloud accounts, synced and time-stamped. My hands started shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. I wanted to scream. Wanted to run into his room and beat him to death with whatever I could find. But I didn't. I started airdropping photos to my phone. Got through maybe 15 when I heard footsteps behind me. What the heck are you doing with my phone? Mallory stood in the doorway, eyes locked on his phone in my hands. Then he saw what was on the screen. His face went white, then red. Give me my phone. Now. I saw everything. All the photos. Your search history. The cloud backups. He lunged at me. Actually threw himself across the kitchen, trying to grab his phone. I jerked backward, held it away from him. He grabbed my wrist, twisted it hard enough that I heard something pop. Give it back! I shoved him with my free hand. He stumbled back into the fridge, magnets and papers scattering everywhere. He came at me again, this time swinging. Caught me across the jaw. Snapped my head sideways. Tasted blood. I dropped his phone. We both went for it. I got there first, kicked it under the stove. Mallory grabbed me by the shirt, threw me against the counter. My ribs hit the edge, and something cracked. Pain shot through my side like lightning. You just signed your death warrant, you little... I swung back. Connected with his nose. Heard a crunch. Saw blood spray. He staggered back, hands to his face, screaming. Junia started crying from my bedroom. The sound cut through everything. I scrambled under the stove, grabbed both phones, and ran to my room. Locked the door. Mallory was pounding on it, screaming threats, calling me every name in the book. I pulled up my phone with shaking, bloody hands. Continued the airdrop. Watched the progress bar as Mallory threatened to break down the door. Ding, ding, ding. Each photo felt like an eternity. 48 more photos transferred. Then I opened his search history while he kicked the door hard enough to crack the frame. I'm not going to type out what was in there. If you've ever read about predators, you know the kind of searches I'm talking about. Specific terms, specific ages, specific forums. Sites I didn't even know existed. Cleared daily, but he'd forgotten to clear it that morning. Screenshot everything. Search history, cloud storage, folder contents. Every shred of evidence I could find. Then I checked his messages. Group chats with usernames I didn't recognize. Sharing photos, trading content. Talking about their experiences. One message from someone said, "Yours is cute." Trade? Mallory had responded, "Maybe. Let me get some better angles first." The door splintered. Mallory's foot came through near the handle. I grabbed Junia, threw my phone in my pocket with his, and climbed out my bedroom window. Landed hard in the side yard, pain shooting through my ribs where I'd hit the counter. Junia was screaming, clinging to my neck. I ran to the neighbor's house, pounded on the door. Mrs. Chen answered, took one look at my bloody face and Junia crying, and pulled us inside. "Call 911, I told her. "Right now. Please." She did. I sat on her couch holding Junia while she cried, both phones in my lap, waiting for sirens. Cops showed up 8 minutes later. 2 patrol units, 4 officers total. Found Mallory in the kitchen holding frozen peas to his nose, spinning some story about me attacking him unprovoked. Found me at Mrs. Chen's with a split jaw and holding a screaming toddler. One of the officers took statements separately. I showed them both phones. Started with the airdropped images, walked them through timestamps, showed my work schedule proving I wasn't home. He caught me going through his phone and attacked me. That's why my face looks like this. I have photos of him molesting my sister. 63 of them, with timestamps. The officer's face got harder with each photo. They radioed for detectives. But Mallory was already spinning his narrative to the other officers. Officers, I honestly don't know what he did to my phone, but I've been genuinely concerned about him for months. He's obsessed with Junia, completely obsessed. Won't let anyone near her. Hovers constantly. He attacked me this morning completely unprovoked. Stole my phone. I think he put those photos there. He knows my passcode. He has access to everything. One cop looked at me. "How'd you get into his phone?" "I memorized his passcode." "So you accessed his phone without permission?" "Yeah, but..." "And you're accusing him based on photos from his device that you accessed illegally without permission?" "I have proof I wasn't home when these were taken. We'll need to verify all of that. This is complicated." Mom showed up 20 minutes later. Clearly not sober, mascara smeared. She backed Mallory completely. Mallory would never hurt Junia. My son's been paranoid for months, controlling. He's trying to get rid of Mallory because he's jealous. The cops looked at each other. "We need to take both of you in for formal statements. This is complex. Assault on both sides, illegal device access, serious allegations. We need detectives." They cuffed us both. "Not arrested," they said. "Detained for questioning." Through the window, I watched another officer stay with Junia. She was crying, reaching for me. At the station, they processed us separately. Put me in an interrogation room. No food, water when I asked, metal chair, metal table, fluorescent lights. 2 hours in, a detective came. Middle-aged guy, tired eyes, wedding ring, coffee-stained shirt. Sat down with a folder and said, "Talk." So I did. Told him everything. How Dad died when I was 14. How Mom fell apart completely. How I became Junia's parent at that age. How Mallory moved in. Started hitting me. Started acting weird around Junia. How I noticed the patterns. The comments. The bathroom trips. The volunteer bath times. How I found the photos that morning. How he caught me and attacked me. The detective took notes the whole time. Didn't interrupt, just nodded and wrote. Asked clarifying questions about timestamps, about my whereabouts, about Mallory's behavior patterns. "Why didn't you call us when you first suspected something?" And tell you what, my stepdad looks at my sister weird. You'd tell me to call back when I had proof. So you took matters into your own hands. I protected my sister. That's my job. By illegally accessing his phone. By gathering evidence that he's a predator. He stared at me for a long moment. Closed his folder. Then he left without another word. 3 more hours passed. The clock on the wall ticked past 3 p.m., then 4 p.m., then 5 p.m. My ribs hurt so bad I could barely breathe. My jaw throbbed. I kept thinking about Junia, wondering where she was, if she was scared. Around hour 5, the first detective came back. This time with another detective. Woman, maybe 40s, hard eyes, crossed arms. They both sat down across from me. "Your story checks out partially," he said. "Your work schedule matches some timestamps. School attendance confirms you weren't home during several incidents. But we have a problem. You illegally accessed his device. That's a crime." My stomach dropped. "However," she added, "the evidence is compelling. We're pulling his phone for full forensic analysis. We'll know by tomorrow if those photos originated on his device or were transferred from yours. If they're his, you're clear. If they're yours, you're looking at serious charges." "They're his! I swear, we'll know tomorrow. You're free to go pending investigation. Don't leave town. Don't contact Mallory or your mother." They released me at 8 p.m. No charges yet. Just pending investigation. I crashed at Mrs. Chen's that night. She took me to urgent care. 2 cracked ribs, split jaw. They wrapped me up. She paid because I had nothing. CPS took Junia to emergency foster care. I couldn't see her. Couldn't even call. Pending investigation, they said. The next day, the female detective called. Forensics came back. Those photos originated on Mallory's device. His camera app, his cloud, his IP. Timestamps match when you were verifiably elsewhere. We're arresting him. Multiple counts. You're clear. No charges for the phone access given the circumstances. But next time, call us first. What about Junia? CPS has her. You're 16. You can't have custody. She'll stay in emergency placement while we build the case. For how long? That depends on a lot of factors. Chapter 6. The Long Fight. A lot of factors meant 24 months of pain. Junia went to foster care. Decent family in the suburbs, experienced with developmental disorder kids, 2 biological children. CPS gave me supervised visits once a week. 1 hour, Thursdays at 4 p.m. Sterile office with cameras everywhere. First visit destroyed me. Junia saw me and screamed, "Bubba!" like I'd finally come to rescue her. Ran across the room, wrapped herself around my legs, wouldn't let go. When the hour ended and the social worker said we had to leave, Junia clung to me crying. "No, I go with Bubba. Bubba, please." Foster mom had to physically pry her off me while she sobbed and reached for me. I walked out, got to the parking lot, and punched a brick wall hard enough to split 3 knuckles. My CPS caseworker found me there. "This is going to be hard for a while, but you showing up matters. Keep showing up." So I did. Every single Thursday for 2 years. And I started building my case. Got a second job overnight stocking at Target. 70-hour weeks between Walmart and Target. $8.50 per hour at one, $9 per hour at the other. 7 days a week. Every penny went into savings labeled Junia's Fund. Ate ramen 3 meals a day. Sometimes plain because I couldn't afford eggs. Dropped 20 pounds in 3 months. Wore the same 3 shirts, same 2 jeans until the knees ripped through. Walked 2 miles to work to save bus fare. Lived on Mrs. Chen's couch because I couldn't afford rent. CPS said I had to wait until 18 to file for kinship guardianship. 2 years felt like forever. 24 months of Junia thinking I'd abandoned her. I got my GED in 6 months. Studied on the bus, during breaks, at 2 a.m. between shifts. Passed first try. Not because I cared about it, but because courts ask about education. Documented everything in a notebook. What we did during visits, how she acted, any concerns. Foster mom started sending photos between visits. "She asks about you every night," one text said. At month 4, Junia stopped asking when I was taking her home. She was adapting. That killed me more than anything. At month 9, I got promoted at Walmart. Shift supervisor. $15 per hour. More money, better schedule. Kept documenting. At month 10, I moved into my own place. 1 bedroom, $650 per month, roaches included. Set up Junia's room anyway. Purple walls. Twin bed. Toys from Goodwill. Took photos for the court. CPS did a home visit at month 12. Checked the fridge, stocked. Checked Junia's room, ready. Asked about my schedule, stable. "You've done everything right," my caseworker admitted. "I'll recommend transition planning when you turn 18. 3 more months." I enrolled in community college online. Business degree, night classes. 2 classes a semester while working full-time. Gonna take 6 years at this pace, but Junia needs to see me working towards something better. Mom tried coming back around during this time. Emails, texts, showing up at my apartment demanding to see her daughter. Said I'd stolen Junia, that she was the victim, that I'd manipulated everyone. Showed up one night completely intoxicated, pounding on the door screaming. I called the cops, didn't open the door, didn't say a word, just waited for the sirens. When they dragged her off the porch, she was sobbing. "Please, she's my daughter. He took her from me." Filed for a restraining order the next morning. Judge granted it same day. Mom's arrest record and the custody transcripts made it easy. Mallory took a plea deal. 15 years. His lawyer knew the evidence was bulletproof. 63 photos with metadata, cloud backups, search history, message logs. Pled guilty to multiple counts to avoid trial and publicity. He's upstate in maximum security. I hope every single day there is worse than the last. A detective called me a year after his arrest. Mallory's arrest led to a federal investigation. His network was bigger than we thought. 34 arrests across 8 states. You saved more kids than just your sister. Didn't make me feel better. Just made me angrier that the system didn't catch him sooner. I turned 18 on a Tuesday, filed for kinship guardianship that morning. Hearing was 6 weeks later. I showed up with my pro bono lawyer and a case file thick enough to need 2 hands. Documentation of caregiving since birth, medical records, bank statements, photos of mom's neglect, CPS reports, character statements from my bosses. Mom showed up to contest it. Fresh out of rehab, 30 days sober, lawyer in tow. I've completed treatment. I'm sober. I want my daughter back. You had 2 years to do that, my lawyer countered. Your son turned his life around at 16. Where were you? Foster mom testified. Said Junia was thriving, but wanted to go home to her brother. Said she'd seen how Junia lit up during visits, how she talked about Bubba constantly. The judge called Junia to chambers. Just her, the judge, a child advocate. 20 minutes later, they came out. Junia made herself very clear, the judge said. She wants to live with her brother. She calls him Bubba and Dad. When asked about her mother, she said, Mommy's sick. When asked about foster care, she said, Miss Rachel is nice, but I want Bubba. Direct quote from a 4-year-old. I felt something crack open in my chest. Relief, pure relief. I'm granting temporary custody to the petitioner, pending 6-month review. Mom lost it. Started screaming in the courtroom, calling me a thief, saying I'd stolen her daughter, that I'd manipulated everyone. Bailiffs had to physically remove her while she shrieked that I was evil, that I'd always been evil, that I'd ruined her life. I sat there feeling nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, just nothing. She was a stranger now. Some woman who used to be my mom before she chose pills and predators over her kids. I looked at my lawyer. When can I take her home? 3 days. Paperwork needs processing. Those were the longest 3 days of my life. I brought Junia home on a Friday afternoon. Walked her into the apartment, showed her the purple room I'd painted, the twin bed with frozen sheets, the toy box I'd filled with Goodwill finds. This is your room, Junie. Forever room. Nobody's taking you anywhere. She looked up at me with those big brown eyes Dad gave her. Promise? Promise. She believed me. Finally. The first 6 months were brutal. Night terrors, separation anxiety, meltdowns when I had to leave for work. She'd wake up screaming at 2 a.m., convinced I'd left. I'd find her by my door crying, checking if I was still there. Took a year before she stopped checking. 2 years before she stopped asking if I was taking her back. 3 years before she believed forever meant forever. Mom tried one more time 6 months after the custody hearing. Showed up sober this time, standing in the parking lot when I got home from work. Hair done, makeup on, holding a teddy bear like that changed anything. Please, just 5 minutes with her. I'm her mother. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Saw nothing. No connection. No history. Just some stranger who happened to give birth to my sister before choosing pills and predators over her kids. You're not her mother. You gave that up when you backed Mallory. When you let me raise her alone. When you chose everyone but her. I was sick. You were sick when you fought me for custody. When you showed up at the station defending a predator. You were sick for 2 years while I worked 70-hour weeks to get her back. She started crying. I made mistakes. You made choices. Now live with them. I walked past her into my building. Didn't look back. Heard her crying in the parking lot. Never saw her again. Last I heard from my aunt, she's in Florida with some new guy. Still telling people I kidnapped Junia. Still playing victim. Still blaming everyone but herself. She's alone now. No kids. No family. Nobody who gives a darn. And I've got a 7-year-old who calls me dad and knows I'll never leave her. That's all the revenge I need. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.